Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Louisa. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe, and if you're coming back, welcome back. And today I wanted to talk about some of the celebrity fallout that's going on in Hollywood at the moment over the Danny Masterson case. If you're not aware of the case, it's essentially recently a Hollywood star was convicted of multiple counts of something I can't say on YouTube, beginning with the word R, and he's been sentenced to 30 years in prison. So the judge took it very seriously. The case at hand involved a lot of religious abuse, and it involved the Church of Scientology essentially attempting to coerce and manipulate witnesses and to use their power and influence and wealth to protect an abuser. So all of this was discussed during the court trial. All of this was relevant to the case at the time and why it took so long for the victims to get any form of justice. So both the victims and the perpetrator were part of the same religious organization, and that organization essentially blamed the witnesses and protected the perpetrator. So when it came to sentencing, a whole bunch of celebrities came out in defense of their friend and colleague who they had been involved with. So, for example, Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher, who had starred with Masterson in that 70s show. Various different people wrote character reference letters to the judge to try and persuade him to give a lenient sentence. So this was after conviction. He had already been found guilty by the jury, and the judge was deliberating about sentencing. And so the family asked friends and colleagues to give character witnesses. And so, yeah, these people in Hollywood essentially defended their friend and said that he was completely honest and trustworthy, and they would let their children be looked after by this guy, and they'd had a 25-year relationship with him where they did not think that he did this. So I can completely understand, you know, people who are essentially at the same level as an abuser in the power hierarchy of whatever organization the abuser is in. They don't see the same person that people who are lower on the hierarchical structure actually encounter. So abusers are calculated, they know exactly what they're doing, they deliberately only target weaker prey. So it's really not that surprising that celebrity Hollywood heavyweights would defend someone that they think is perfectly normal. There is some speculation that people like Ashton Kutcher might be indoctrinated into the Church of Scientology because of some of the language that he used in his reference letter. It was very Scientology speak. But there's also some speculation that people in Hollywood have dirt on each other, and that if you don't side with these people who have information about you, then they can expose you. So those things could certainly be in play for people like Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis. Perhaps they sincerely believe that this person is who they thought they were, and they had no idea because they were not lower down in the pecking order. They were equals, or even probably in many respects more successful. But then there's the interesting case of Taryn Manning. So if you're not familiar with who Manning is, she's been in a number of different movies. She was in 8 Mile, she was in Hustle and Flow. She had a singing career. She was part of a band with her brother, and she's also starred in the TV series Orange is the New Black, where she co-starred with someone else from that 70s show. So she's also moved in the same circles as Danny Masterson and maintained a friendship with him over the years. And she came out recently with a very strange video, which we're going to have a look at, because she brings a whole bunch of, I guess, spirituality into the equation. And there's a lot of speculation about her mental health. So I wanted to have a look at this video and just sort of give my thoughts and comments on it as someone who has a psychology degree and is a Christian, and I'm working towards my postgraduate qualifications in psychology. So yeah, let's have a look. Okay, so the first thing I want to do before we actually play the video is just have a look at what she wrote in the post which has the video in it. So she made a video and she also wrote an explanation about the video before she posted it. So in her own words, it says, "The biggest disgrace of the year, Mila and Ashton backpedaling and blaming his mum." Wow. So if you're not aware, Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher actually made an apology video for the letters that they wrote, because like they essentially run an organization which helps victims of trafficking and abuse. And so people were like, what are you doing defending someone who has been convicted of terrible crimes? Like, is your entire vocation just another Hollywood stunt? Yeah, so they came out with this apology video, and then a lot of people are like, yeah, that's not, that doesn't really explain anything. But apparently, Taryn Manning is angered that they made the apology video, so she doesn't think they should have apologized. She says that it's backpedaling. She thinks that they should have stuck to their guns and they should have defended their friend. So that's roughly where her mind is at. She goes on to say, "Another fact about me, I don't vote, never have and never will. I don't do anything regarding a system, and I don't care enough about some fat white men who think they can govern billions. Like, bye, zero soulful human." Okay, so this is a bit of a rambling tangent. Like, what exactly does this have to do with someone being convicted of terrible crimes? Is she saying that this is the system? Well, let's go on to have a look. "Unless a president can play the drums, he can beat it for all I care. Legit, if you care at all about your life and anyone who you say you love, change your frequency, vibrate higher. This is real. One by one, as we ascend, we can change what they are doing to us." Okay, so now the rambling tangent has swerved into another area of what I would say is New Age spiritual speak. So for those of you who are not aware, I used to be in the New Age. I used to be a practicing Wiccan. And I came across a lot of people who were like, oh, you need to vibrate at this frequency so that we can ascend into 5D. And it's like, I don't know. So at the time I kind of went with it, but I had lots of questions, and eventually my questions led to Christianity. That's the abridged version. But yeah, so she's got these very new age concepts about, like, I don't know, somehow changing reality by just vibrating really fast. Somehow I don't think it works that way. Like I don't think you can do that. One by one, as we ascend, we can change what they are doing to us. Till then, the more negative you remain, the more crap you talk, the more they win. It's this simple. Stand for something. Stop capitulating to rules. Since when were you such a rule follower? Punk rock nation, stand for something in life. Right, so capitulating to rules. Does that mean that she thinks that no one should be held accountable for rape? Does she think that these are arbitrary rules? That like harming other people, destroying someone's life, intimidating them, coercing them, drugging them? Does she think that these are just, you know, superficial rules, man? That's just the government trying to control you by saying you can't drug and rape someone. Like, is she serious? Is this what she actually believes? She says stand for something in life. Yeah, you know what? We stand for justice, for victims. That's what we're standing for. That's literally the whole point. Okay, well, the written version was rambling enough. Let's have a look at the video.
I've already been like humiliated, and you humiliated somebody that I actually really loved and cared for. I was just having a bad day, and also I have a lisp. I'm 80% deaf, and so I've actually come a really long way with my speech impediment. So for everybody that thinks I'm on drugs or drunk, no, I just actually, when I get relaxed or when I'm not like on the silver screen, I can tend to fall back into my tendencies, which is a little bit of a lisp. But at this point...
Okay, so she seems to think that people think that she's drunk or on drugs because of the lisp. I mean, some people might think that, but I think the majority of people are saying she might be drunk or on drugs because she's rambling incoherently about things that don't make sense. Like, she's rambling in written text. So even just the written text is bonkers. I think that, like, putting this down to drugs or alcohol is potentially doing her a kindness. I don't think that's what's going on. I think it's much, much worse than that.
Everyone's humiliated me so bad that I'm all the way in for everything that I've always stood for, that I was hiding secretly. That there's no human on this planet that doesn't deserve to have the best life and to be happy and free, because you are made in the image of the good Lord.
Okay, so someone who viciously attacks other people and harms them physically, mentally, and emotionally in ways that they can never recover from, that person deserves to be free and living their best life, because they were made in the image of God. Well, they were made in the image of God, and they corrupted that image. So we're all made in the image of God, and we all have the choice whether to live up to it or not. So you can be an abuser, you can commit crimes against other people, you can do heinous things, and that's corrupting the image of God, because God would not do that. God would not say that that is good, that that is how people should treat each other. So what she's saying is irrelevant. Like what?
Made perfectly just the way you are. And the fact that people want to just tear us all down, like even like with my friend Danny going to prison for 30 years. Yeah, he made a mistake, but everyone just keep going, just keep crucifying him.
Okay, so he's the Messiah, apparently. So even though he made a mistake, so she admits that he did terrible things. But he shouldn't be held accountable for that. He shouldn't have to face any consequences for those terrible things, guys. Because he's a great guy. He is perfect. He is perfect just the way he is. Right? So, because he's so awesome and he's so perfect, at no point should anyone ever hold him accountable for abuse and crimes. That's just, I mean, that's just how the good Lord made him. First of all, that is not how God made anyone. God is not responsible for the crimes that human beings commit. The individual person is responsible for their choices and their actions, and they will be held accountable, if not in this life, then certainly on Judgment Day. So if she cares about her friend, she should be concerned about him repenting, because that's way more important.
As if he's not already suffering. He gets it. He got it. Leave him alone. Leave me alone. Leave people alone. Who are you? Who are you?
Okay, well, I'm not a rapist. That's not something that I've ever done. It's not something that I would do. It's not something that I want to do. It's not something that I would premeditatively purchase drugs and then deliberately go out and find a target and slip something into their drink and then violate them when they were unconscious. That's not something that I've ever done. That's not something that I want to do. So that's who I am. I don't think she understands what the penalty for crime actually is. Like, he hasn't suffered enough because he hasn't admitted to it. He obviously hasn't shown any remorse. He hasn't asked for any kind of forgiveness, and he's not even really willing to acknowledge it. And at this point, he's just a menace and a danger to society. So he can't be allowed to roam free with unlimited access to other human beings, because that's not in the best interest of the community. That's what prison is for. Prison is not just a punishment for the person who has done the crime. Prison is also necessary for the safety of the community.
What did you do today to change the world, huh? Since you have so many opinions, what did you do to change the world, huh? People like you, people like me. Yeah, enough. Enough. It's enough.
Yes, Taryn, it's enough. You need to shut up. You need to stop rambling on social media. You need to stop defending someone who has committed terrible crimes. And you need to stop telling people that they're not allowed to talk about those crimes and to very correctly condemn them. It's not very often that I actually would ever tell anyone to actually shut up. But in this situation, I just think she's digging herself a deeper and deeper hole. She says that she's all in because she's been humiliated. But really she's just humiliating herself. This is one of those instances where her grasp of reality is so tenuous that she doesn't even really see what she looks like and what she's saying from a more logical perspective. She doesn't seem to appreciate why her friend's actions were a problem. And that's an enormous problem because, like, what is she capable of? You know, if she thinks that someone who did all these things to defenseless, unconscious people is, you know, a great guy, what does she do? Honestly, in a situation like this, if she was ever presented to to a healthcare professional, you know, they should probably get her assessed, because it seriously looks like some kind of mental disorder. What it could be, I don't know, unless it's just her strange theology, her New Age / Christian theology. And this is one of the big dangers of the blending of the New Age with Christianity, which has happened from both sides. So the New Age has adopted a lot of Christian teachings and Christian sayings and Christianese, and they use it in inappropriate ways, in ways that are not biblically accurate. And then they try to say, oh, well, this is more true than the historic Christianity that has existed for 2,000 years. And in the New Age, it's really just about, you know, your feelings. Well, I feel like this is true, and I feel like this should happen. And there's a lot of paranoia that goes along with that, especially of like authority and of government systems and things like that. And unfortunately, a lot of Christian churches have gone down the same route, where they're like, oh, the government can't be trusted, so we're just going to ignore all mainstream systems when it comes to like education and healthcare, and we're not going to follow any rules, and we're just going to make things up for ourselves, and we'll just go with our feelings because feelings are facts. Or not even facts, like feelings are more true than the truth in a lot of these instances. And you can see why it leads to some very unstable mental conditions. And, you know, has she joined a cult? Don't know. Has she just been brainwashed by some kind of ideology, some kind of spirituality? Don't know. There's definitely a level of paranoia and delusion involved, and we've got some further examples of the delusion. So this is another screenshot from Taryn Manning's Instagram, and it says, "Love you, homie. I will never forget our good times. You're not going anywhere. I rebuke Satan in the name of Jesus. F the lies. Enough is enough. All darkness comes to light." So obviously she doesn't believe that her friend committed these crimes. Which, again, understandable. She probably never saw that aspect to him, because abusers are like that. They show one face to one set of people, and they show a completely different face to a different set of people. And so if you are a target, you see the real monster. But if you are someone that they can use, someone that they can network with, suck up to, you will never see that side of them. That's why so many abusers have so many friends and character witnesses. It happens very frequently, and usually the victim and the target is quite isolated because they've been the subject of a smear campaign that they were usually completely unaware of. So behind their back, you know, the abusive spouse will have been telling everyone that, oh, they're unstable, oh, you know, I do my best with them, but they just have breakdowns all the time and I don't know why. And it's like, yeah, you know why. It's because you're psychologically torturing them. Anyway, she goes on to say, "Brace and be courageous. Don't capitulate to these demons." So apparently the legal system is demons. "You don't deserve the book thrown at you. I don't care what they say. I've been accused of R2. And no, this isn't about me. For the people who have said such a thing, I won't ever stop loving a pal who I know is stellar. You know the truth, girls. 20 years later, you have moved on and had babies and are thriving. This will live forever on the internet. Embarrassment. Trying to kill my pal." So she's saying that, like, the victims, the people who have been subjected to this kind of violation, they're just gonna move on and have families and live happily ever after, whereas her friend is going to suffer from embarrassment for the rest of his life until it kills him. Until it destroys him. He dies from embarrassment. Yeah, not the same thing at all. Yeah, F that, I'm not happy about it. I love Bijou, his wife of 20 years. You think she would stand for this? You want money, period, and you know when you lay your head on the pillow, you know the truth. He just didn't want you. So she's saying that they were trying to initiate a relationship and get money out of this. I don't think they've had any money out of this. And they've had years and years of harassment from the Church of Scientology for even talking about it before they went to law enforcement. I hope you are pleased with what you have done to another human. You have it coming to you. Father God saw all. I already know one of you will admit you lied. Love you guys. I'm so sorry for your tragedy. Pray, pray. Demons, suck my D. No time for your twisted BS. Bye. Okay, well, she sounds very stable. I'm curious about her being accused at one point. That's interesting. Look, in all seriousness, she's right about one thing. God has seen everything. There is absolutely nothing which is hidden from God. And so whatever anyone has done will eventually come to the light, which in this instance it has. Whatever the full extent of what went on, at some point we all have to deal with Judgment Day. And for Christians, so if she believes in Judgment Day, if she has that as part of her theology, then Danny Masterson and Taryn Manning and Bijou Phillips and Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, they're all going to have to stand individually before God, and they're all going to have to give an account. And chances are a lot of things will be exposed at that point, and they will be judged for them, just like all of us. So all of us are going to have to go through the process of judgment. All of us are going to have to give an account for the various things that we've done in our lives. And, you know, for some people it'll work out, and for others it won't. And the penalty at that point is going to be a lot more serious than prison. You know, we have an opportunity in this life to repent. We have an opportunity to ask God for forgiveness through the Son Jesus. And if we're too proud, or we're too ashamed of what we have done, or we keep telling ourselves that it's no big deal, that, you know, we're actually the victim. I'm the real victim in this scenario. If we do that, then we're just postponing the inevitable. We're still going to have to deal with it at some point. So like I said, if Taryn Manning really cared about her friend, she would be encouraging him to confess and repent, and to serve his time with humility, and to use it as an opportunity to change his life. But somehow I doubt that that's going to happen, because Hollywood overinflates people's egos too much. It makes them feel like they are beyond the law. It makes them feel like they are above other human beings. And that's not true. And eventually it is going to bite them. Alright guys, thank you so much for your time. Don't forget to subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And yeah, I will see you next time. Also, by the way, I did a live stream with a channel called That Christian Nerd, so if you want to check it out, I will put a link in the comments section and you can go and see that. Take care out there, God bless, and I'll see you next time. Bye.